Now, the PAP tells you that I have a bad character, and you shouldn't vote for me. And that's all they've been saying for these past several days. One by one, the ministers have popped up to take shots at me. Every single one of them attacking me very personally and very viciously. But I don't care. Unlike the PAP, I want to appeal to the good sense and good hearts of you, the Bukit Batok voters. I don't want to see politics become so poisonous. I've seen how it can ruin countries. And if we continue down this path, we will tear our country apart. If I have to play so dirty, to be so destructive and tear down my opponent so badly in order to win, then no, leave me out of it. Then I don't want to win. As I said before, if I win, I want to win with honor. If I lose, I want to lose with grace. My fellow Singaporeans, I would rather be honest and not get into Parliament than to lie to you and be in Parliament for all the wrong reasons. I say this because I want to use this opportunity to appeal to the best side of our people. Politics can be used to divide, or it can be used to unite us. As leaders, we have the responsibility to ensure that we use politics for the good of our nation. Some people have told me, hey, whack David Ong lah. That's the PAP's weakest point. Second one already, the first one is Michael Palmer, and PAP still hasn't learned its lesson. No, I don't want to do that. Not my style. You never kick a man when he's down. There's no honor in that. For all I know, David Ong is a good guy. But sometimes good guys make bad mistakes. Who hasn't? Didn't someone once put it so beautifully? To err is human, to forgive is divine. Let's leave Mr. Ong alone for him to find his life again and let his family heal again. In the past weeks, I have met many of you. I have chatted with you. I have laughed with you. And I've even sung Chipaban with you. Whether you are Chinese, or Malay, or Indian, or Eurasian, many of you have expressed their support for me. And for that, I am grateful. I have shaken your hands, and I have looked you, and you have looked me in my eyes and say you support me. It's not because you see me as Chinese or Malay or Indian. It's because you see me as someone who cares what happens to you and what happens to Singapore, regardless of the color of my skin or yours. You support me because you see me as someone who wasn't here just 6 weeks ago, but someone who started this journey 25 years ago. Someone who stumbled many times along the way, was knocked down many times, but got up each and every time and pressed on. You saw me as someone who was so tired and so weary during many parts of the journey, and who was so tempted to give up, but never did. You see me not as a hero, but as an ordinary guy who lives like you in a 3-room HDB flat. Who goes through what you are going through, and because of this, also see someone who understands, really understands what you mean when you say you are hurting, and that you want someone to speak up for you in Parliament. The taunts, the insults, the punishments, the attacks have been unrelenting. But I do not bow to those who mock me, nor will I bend to those who attack me. I will not kneel before them, because one cannot stand up for one's principles, for one's beliefs, for one's people on bended knees. As for Mr. Murali, I've met him a couple of times. We met once at a funeral not far from here, and then at the nomination center. We didn't have much time to talk, but even then, from that short time, I found him to be a very decent chap. And I've heard good things about him. My criticisms of Mr. Murali is not about his person, and I want to emphasize this. It's about his political views. So I tell my colleagues in the SDP, and I hope all our friends and supporters will abide by this too. Please, do not launch personal attacks against my opponent. Like me, he is Singaporean first and PAP member second. I believe this about him, and I hope he believes that I am Singaporean first and SDP member second. We can disagree, but let us disagree gentlemanly and with civility. You know, I started out when May and I didn't have children, and now they're all grown. There were ups and downs, a lot more downs than ups. There were very lean years too, but I never felt deprived. I never really felt afraid, because I knew that there is a hand that guides me and my God who leads me. I always knew that at the end of the journey, the reward will be there. It may not be in my bank account, but it is a treasure far more desirable. And so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it. And which is more, you'll be a man, my son. I remember years ago, after picking up our kids from a friend's birthday party, and it was a big house, and you know how children are. And when we got home, Annlyn, my eldest daughter, who was 5 or 6 at that time, she turned to me and asked, Papa, are we rich? It was one of those questions that was as simple and innocent as it was complicated. It took me a while as I searched for an answer. And finally I said to her, yes, we are. Mom and I may not be able to send you to school in a big car. Or we may not be able to live in a big house where you can have your own room. But yes, we are rich. And you know why? Because we have you. Like any father, I want the best for them. But the most precious things in life are not the ones that glitter. As I said, I may not drive a big car or live in a big house. I don't even carry a credit card or a smartphone. But every day, when I walk through the door and hear my children call out, "Hi, Papa," I feel like the richest man on earth. As long and as hard as the struggle has been, I walk with my head held high. I can do this because it doesn't matter who the PAP says I am. What matters is God knows who I am. My wife and my children know who I am. And most important, I know who I am. But as my children grow older and they begin to understand what's being said about their father in the newspapers and on TV, I want to tell them this. Annlyn, Elin, and Shoher, as you watch this rally at home, I want to tell you that there are many things in life that I want to teach you as a father. But the most important lesson that I can impart to you is that we don't ruin others in order to rise up. We don't step on others' dreams in order to fulfill ours. And we don't ridicule others for not being like us. Instead, we lift up our friends. We extend a hand to strangers, and we forgive our enemies. We do what is good, so that others may see the goodness in our hearts and want for themselves what they see in us. That is character. And I want you never to forget this lesson.
I searched deep. But the more I searched, the more I found that there was only one answer. And that is, in life, one must do what is right, not just what is popular. Because what is right is also the truth. And the truth is that without our political rights, we cannot protect our wages, our jobs, and our future.